Hello, everyone. On this episode, I'm going to be talking about the Indiana Jones franchise, and the question is Indiana Jones dead? I mean, where do we go from here with the franchise, pretty much? Um, yeah, basically, want to just talk about, I guess, the past, present, and future of the Indiana Jones franchise. Like, basically, how did we get here? To a Indiana Jones movie bombing, and what's the present state of Indiana Jones, and what is the future of the franchise, if there even is a future. And yeah, I mean, let's just start with how we got here. Like, I mean, think about it, guys. A Indiana Jones movie bombing. That is freaking insane. Like, whoever would have thought of that 20 years ago? Because, I mean, if you go back and look at the old movies, yeah, I mean, let's take a look here. I mean, every single Indiana Jones movie has been a huge box office success. Every single one. I mean, let's go back and look at Raiders. Though, granted, movies were different back then because, I mean, this ran in the theaters for over a year. But why did it run in the theater for over a year? It was because it was making money. Yeah. I mean, it had a budget of $20 million and yeah, made almost $400 million back in 1981, over 40 years ago. I mean, look at this profit margin. I mean, let's say the marketing, I guess, was maybe $5 or $10 million. So let's say it's like a $30 million movie. It made like what? Almost 13 times what it cost or something. I mean, Jesus. We're never going to get profit margins like that again. You know, as especially for like a big action adventure movie. I mean, my God. Yeah. I mean, most action adventure movies nowadays are lucky to make two or three times what they cost. And I think Temple of Doom did okay. It had a lot of competition in 1984. Yeah, I mean, it still made 33 or 333. That's pretty damn good. Because I think it came out with tons of movies. I think it was like Beverly Hills Cop and stuff like that. So, yeah, a lot of competition. And then Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade was the highest grossing one. And I mean, this surprisingly actually beat out Batman 1989 for the highest grossing movie of 1989. I mean, crazy. Because if you were around for Batman 89, you know the hype and the just bombastic pomp surrounding that movie. I mean, it was crazy. One guy I used to know, he was like 16 and whatever when that came out, and he didn't go and see Batman when it came out because it was sold out and the lines were ridiculous. So he waited like a couple of months to go and see the movie. And when he went to the theater, the lines were still wrapped around the building. I mean, it was just insane. So, I mean, imagine how much Last Crusade was. And I think that was kind of a international box office help, that one. So, yeah. But yeah, I mean, every single Indiana Jones movie has been a huge financial success, even Crystal Skull. You know, I mean, that's definitely not a 13 to 1 profit margin or ratio, but still pretty damn good. I mean, all said and done, it probably made a profit of $200 or $300 million, so not too bad. Even though it was not a well received movie, and I mean, I do think Crystal Skull gets more hate than it's worth. I mean, there are some parts of it like I like the diner scene when Indy's just talking to Mutt, and there's a couple of parts, but I mean, the nuke fridge, aliens, I mean, it's just so just stupid. I mean, the nuke fridge is just my God, yeah. Part of me actually wants to rewatch this because I've only seen it twice, and I think the last time I saw it was like 10 freaking years ago. But whenever I actually think about it, I'm like, nah, I'm good. I don't really need to see this again. Yeah, I mean, why watch that when you can watch, the any of the original three. So basically, how did we get to this? This movie's on pace to be one of the biggest box office bombs ever. I mean, I was even saying before this came out like a week ago, I was like asking people on YouTube, I was saying, could this be the biggest bomb in movie history? I mean, could it be? And I mean, 6 months ago, I was like, I'll be surprised if it makes as much as Kingdom of the Crystal Skull, which was like, what, 790? Yeah, I'm like, this might not even make that much. And because this movie's budget is so huge, it has to make, $800-900 million just to break even. Because this is just how much the movie itself costs to make. They still probably put like $150 million in marketing, like commercials and trailers and all that. Like, I think they had like a Super Bowl ad. I mean, that was probably like $10 or $15 million just for that one commercial. So, and then all the interest and stuff, because I mean, they were filming this. You gotta remember, they were filming this during COVID. So, yeah. And Harrison Ford got injured, so that fucked things up and stuff. So, yeah, they at the very least, I think, need to make 800 million to break even. And the way it's looking now, if it makes 159 million in its first 5 days, yeah. And because week two, even though nothing's coming out this week, it's probably still gonna have a drop of like 50-60%. So basically cut that in half, and it's gonna like barely pass 200 million. And then the week after this week, Mission Impossible comes out, so that's just gonna obliterate this movie. Yeah. Now I will say a lot of movies have had legs this year, like what was it, Guardians? I can't see my keyboard. There we go. Like, this movie started off okay, but it just kept going and going and going. Like, it was still making like $7 million over a month after it came out, which was kind of impressive. But I mean, yeah, it made a profit, but not a huge profit. I mean, maybe like 100, 150, maybe 200 million at the most, which is good. But you have to remember, when you're dropping, this much money on a movie like that, it's you want to make a ton. Yeah. You want to at least triple your money. Yeah. And that didn't do it. Nobody's really talking about this, but this is like one of the biggest bombs of the year. Like, with that budget, I mean, that needed like that needed to probably hit $900 million just to break even. Yeah. Let's see. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, that didn't even come close to breaking even. And they keep talking about how they want to make 2 more sequels to finish up the series or the franchise. And I'm like, I don't know if you can do that. I mean, if you're dropping 340 million on this one, I'm like, Jesus, man. So they might want to finish that up in just one movie. Yeah. And Little Mermaid didn't do that good. That's another movie that kind of had legs, though. Like, it was barely able to... Little Mermaid... Is it The Little Mermaid? It was, like, barely able to cross 500 million. But it made it. It made it eventually. Yeah. But, yeah, they lost money on this, too. With a 250, yeah. I mean, that probably needed to make 700 million to break even, give or take. So, yeah, Disney is not doing good, thankfully, because they keep putting out shit. But yeah. So could this have legs like those other movies? I mean, I don't know. This 2023 is going to go down in the history books, man, because I think pound for pound, This was like the worst box office year of my lifetime. I mean, just nothing is doing great. I mean, Guardians made a profit, but Little Mermaid lost money. This probably lost money. Um, really, the only thing that's doing okay is Guardians of the Galaxy, and that only made like $100 million, 200 at the most. I mean, that's not really good enough. We'll see how Mission Impossible does. I mean, you can't bet against Tom Cruise, especially after Top Gun Maverick. So we'll see how it goes. Um, I don't know if I'll see it. I still have to. I've only seen the first two Mission Impossible movies, so I need to see the rest. But yeah. I mean, this is just not looking good. And so, in my opinion, how did we get to this point where you have a Indiana Jones movie bombing? Well, basically, I think Lucasfilm is damaged goods, and you just have to look at what they did to Star Wars. Now, granted, every Star Wars movie that they made a lot of money, especially The Force Awakens. You know, that made, I think, almost $2 billion, and it was a huge success, and blah 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 blah. Nap, what? Okay, I don't know what nap. Oh wow, I did not know they did that. Huh. Interesting. A little bit of a side note. Okay. But yeah, I think Force Awakens did well. Let's see. Yeah, it did cross 2 billion. Okay, but it's also the most expensive movie of all time. So yeah, mainly because I think they had to pay Harrison Ford like some ungodly number because he also had a percentage of the profits. So I think he ended up making like $70 million off of this. And God only knows how much they paid him for Indiana Jones. Probably not that much, but yeah. So yeah, that did very well because everybody was excited to see something. I thought the movie was shit when I saw it, but people seemed to like it. I remember people getting death threats at the time for not liking the movie. So yeah, but then you take a look at The Last Jedi and woo, they lost $700 million. What happened there? Yeah, what happened there? And then you had this one, barely past $1 billion. And again, was also one of the most expensive movies of all time. So yeah, essentially you lost half your audience. Half your audience. And to put it in perspective, the Joker movie cost, it was like $50 million, made almost as much as this. And there was a rated R movie too, I think. So, yeah. And you look at the current state of like The Mandalorian and just how all that stuff's going. And then you have Solo, the Solo movie come out, which pretty much put the kibosh on Star Wars movies because it was the first time you had a Star Wars movie bomb at the box office. Yeah. Oh my God. Yeah. I mean, they might have lost $200 million on this. I mean, if that budget's, well, yeah, they basically had to film this movie twice. Because I think when it was about 80% done, Kathleen Kennedy basically fired the directors and brought in Ron Howard to finish it up, and you basically had to make the movie twice. Yeah. And it was pretty much after this that Lucasfilm freaked out and started making TV shows instead of movies. So, you have The Mandalorian, you have Kenobi, you have the Boba Fett movie. Show. And, I think people really like the first two seasons of The Mandalorian, but you look at Mandalorian Season 3, its ratings were shit. It was shit. And you look at Kenobi, I know a lot of people were trying to say that was good. That was horrible. 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 Embarrassing. Boba Fett, embarrassing. Just horrible. Horrible. So basically, everything Lucasfilm has touched the last, I don't know, 5 years has been pretty much shit. Yeah. So Lucasfilm has a bad reputation right now for ruining classic properties and just making shit. And Willow, I mean, my God. I'm a big fan of the movie Willow. That show was so bad that just a couple of months after it finished up, Disney took it off of Disney Plus and basically buried it. Like, I don't even think you can buy the show. And it got canceled and they took it off. So they're just going to use it as like a tax write-off or some shit. That's how bad Willow was. And, I think the biggest problem with Lucasfilm is that you don't have somebody telling Kathleen Kennedy to stop making shit. And that's a big problem with corporate America. Because you have the CEOs, you have the executives, you have all these people at the top, and they're just getting sucked off all day long by sycophants, secretaries, executives. They're just, the people below them want the power, want the money, want to keep the jobs. So they're just like, yes, do this, do that. You're doing great. Yeah. If you sat me down with Kathleen Kennedy a year ago, I would have told her, you've ruined Star Wars because of your poor decisions. Your Indiana Jones movie looks like crap. This sounds like a bad idea. What are you doing? What are you thinking? And she would just, you're one of those people. She wouldn't listen to me most likely, but I would try to be nice, even though she makes my skin crawl. I remember watching, it was like a couple of years ago, I was watching the making of Raiders of the Lost Ark, and they had Kathleen Kennedy pop up every now and then. And every time I saw her, I just shivered like, oh, God. And, you just don't have anybody telling. And I think that's the problem with Spielberg and Lucas, too. Like, how could they make Crystal Skull? Oh, because they didn't have anybody telling them, what the fuck are you doing? That's stupid. Stop it. Oh, you're going to have Shia LaBeouf be the son of Indiana Jones? Idiot. He doesn't look anything like Marion or Indy, and he's a psycho in real life. What are you doing? But I think Spielberg hired him just because he was producing the Transformer movies, and I guess he liked them. But boy, that relationship did not end well. Holy shit. Yeah. I mean, Shia LaBeouf and he had a pretty big falling out. I mean, even Harrison Ford was giving him some shit, so it's like, not pretty. But I mean, they could have there was so many things they could have done with Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny. They could have gotten Short Round. They could have had Chris Pratt play Mutt. I mean, Chris Pratt looks a lot more like he could be Indiana Jones' son than Shia LaBeouf. And Chris Pratt's a good guy. He's popular. Like, that probably would have added. I mean, you would have had to pay Chris Pratt, but I mean, if you replace Phoebe Waller-Bridge with Chris Pratt, this movie probably makes maybe $200 million more than it will with Phoebe Waller-Bridge. Like, whoever brought in Phoebe Waller-Bridge, and I'm assuming it was Kathleen Kennedy, I mean, you're the reason why this movie didn't do well. Because I remember 2-3 years ago when it was announced that she was coming in, me and a lot of guys were just like, oh, fuck. That just kills this movie right away because we know what she's going to be. She's going to be the annoying feminist, girl boss, Mary Sue that can do everything Indy can do but better just because. It was just predictable. It was predictable. So when all the rumors and leaks about the movie started coming out, I wasn't surprised. There was even the rumor that at the end of the movie, Indy was going to die and she was going to take over and stuff. I mean, that's not what happened in the movie, but did they think about doing that? Did they even maybe film that ending? I wouldn't be surprised. I mean, why not? You basically have it so that if the movie was a success, they could do a TV show with her or something. But thankfully, because it's bombing, so much for that. But now she's off to go and ruin Tomb Raider. So, yeah. And that's the problem, too. Just a lot of shitty people just keep getting work in Hollywood because they got friends, they got connections. It's not merit based. And look, Phoebe Waller-Bridge, I don't know her as a person, but I just don't like her stuff. Yeah, creatively, artistically, I don't like her stuff. So that's, yeah, not doing anything personal. I just don't like her stuff. Like some people, like that Star Wars girl is giving her shit about having the birthmark or something on her forehead. I'm like, I don't care about that. You know, who cares? Quit being so, I don't know what the word is, sleazy or just, you know, yeah. I mean, just talk about the art. Talk about the art. And yeah, I just think Phoebe Waller-Bridge is horrible. I mean, she's one of the main writers on. Yeah, I mean, James Bond, No Time to Die. That's actually a really good movie to compare to Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny. Because, yeah, Phoebe Waller-Bridge. Yep. Now, this movie was almost Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny. Because it cost so much, and so much was riding on the box office, that this easily could have been a catastrophic bomb. The only reason why it wasn't was because the foreign marketplace. I think this movie only made like, I think it only made like $158 million in the United States. Let me see. Oh my God. It only made $160 million in the United States. My God. And look at the foreign marketplace. The only reason why this movie succeeded was because of that. Yeah. And it looks like it still lost money, but it's okay. You know, it got to within, 25 million. So, I mean, dude, if this only had made, let's say it's made 500 million, they would have lost $300 million on this. And I was wondering what it was going to do in the marketplace. I was wondering. But it still pulled it out somehow. Even though it did jack shit in the United States, the foreign marketplace saved it. Now we look at this. Foreign marketplace ain't saving this one. No. Not at all. For whatever reason. I think it's doing well in the UK. But yeah, for it to make less internationally than it did in the US, that's horrible. Horrible. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, they're already calling it a bomb. Yeah. Because it's not going to, yeah, see the UK. I mean, oof. Yeah, the foreign marketplace is not going to save Indiana Jones. And so, again, how did we get here? Well, Indiana Jones is kind of aging out, you know. The Generation Xers who went and saw the Raiders of the Lost Ark in the theater, they're in their late 40s and 50s now. You know, they have kids. Some of them might even have grandkids. And they might make the kids watch the movies and stuff. I mean, I kind of feel like if you're 30 and below, you probably know Indiana Jones. I'm sure you've seen it. I mean, I wear my Indiana Jones hat pretty much whenever I go across the world, and people recognize it as Indiana Jones. So, I mean, the franchise is, people still know it. But why are they not going to see the movie? That's the thing. And the hell, when I went and saw it, I was probably the youngest person in the theater by like 20 years. It was all old people in there. All old people. I mean, there weren't no 18-year-old kids in there. Fuck no. So, what could they have done to get the younger audience? Well, and I think this falls on Kathleen Kennedy, the marketing. I mean, I might be, might be hyperbole, but I think this might be the most lazy and arrogant marketing campaign for a movie I've ever seen in my life. Basically, they were like, all right, let's just strap Indiana Jones to the title and it will make $1 billion. That literally seems to be what they did with their marketing. Yeah. Yeah, we don't really need to cultivate an audience. We don't really need to do anything. They'll just make the movie and, yeah, bada bing, bada boom, $1 billion. Now, what I would have done instead is probably starting 4-5 years ago, let's start bringing the comics back. Let's get the old comic books back in print because they are all sold out now. For like 10 years, they've been out of print. You want to drop some money, go on eBay and buy some Indiana Jones comics. The Dark Horse ones, the classic ones, all that. They could have reproduced that. Disney could do that. Let's maybe get some new books going on. Yeah, maybe a whole new book series of Indiana Jones during World War II. Yeah, let's do that. Get like 5 books or so. A book a year, pretty much. Let's make a Indiana Jones video game. Now, supposedly, I think Bethesda is supposedly, let me see. Yeah, supposedly they're making a new video game. Where is it? Yeah, the last Indiana Jones book to come out was 2009. Yeah. Was that 14 years ago? The last game to come out was also 2009. Now, on paper, this game actually looked pretty good. But, yeah, they basically, I think after Indiana Jones and the Crystal Skull came out, Disney was just like, or Lucasfilm, well, LucasArts, was basically like, yeah, there's no fans yeah, for this. So, yeah, they were just like, yeah, publisher decided there was not enough interest to warrant its release. So, yeah, Rob McGregor, our good old writer, even wrote a book based on the game. And just recently, I think on my birthday, I actually had to release it as a free ebook because LucasArts was just like, nobody gives a shit. So, yeah. And I was actually pretty excited for this game back in the day, but they were just like, nah, we don't want to spend any money, so we're not going to have it released on the current system. We'll just drop it on the Wii and the PS2, and nobody played it, of course. So, yeah. I'll actually try and download that ebook. Yeah. I think there's a link. Yeah, I'll try and download that somewhere. Tried downloading it on my phone last night, but it wouldn't work, so I don't know. But what's fucking video games? Got comic books, yeah, Dark Horse. Yeah. Interesting. But yeah, see, everything pretty much died after Crystal Skull came out. I guess except for the Lego Indian. Well, fuck, look again, 2009. Yeah, I actually went through that a couple of years ago. That was actually pretty fun. I don't really see the point in going through that one, but yeah. But yeah, look at that. Everything died after Crystal Skull. Interesting. Seeing how that movie was a financial success, but maybe it was because people didn't like the game, or the movie, I mean. So, is this it? What the fuck is this? Released in 2011. I've never even seen this. What's Middle America? You mean Central America? Usually when we say Middle America, that means like everything between California and New York. I've never even seen that game before. Wow. But yeah, here it is. Untitled Indiana Jones game. Bethesda, they announced it like 2 years ago, so at this point, I don't see it coming out. But I'm like, why would you release a video game years after your fucking movie that you need to make money off of? Like, that's just another dumb fucking thing Kathleen Kennedy did. Like, no, you have to release the game before the movie. I mean, imagine if they released like a really good Indiana Jones game, like on par with, some of the other LucasArts games, like Jedi Outcast or whatever. I don't know, what was that last Star Wars game? But yeah, basically, they could have done so much to cultivate an audience for this. Have comic books come out, have books come out, have a video game come out. Get the franchise going again. And that's kind of what Daniel Craig's James Bond did. What happened? All right, more books were being written. We had some video games come out, like Quantum of Solace and stuff. Pretty good games. They released GoldenEye on Xbox. They've done some good stuff with James Bond until No Time to Die. They're still wanting to do more movies after that, and I'm like, good luck, Barbara Broccoli, another Kathleen Kennedy-like producer. Like, oh, let's kill James Bond, and no worries, we'll just try and bring him back. I'm like, oh, okay, let's see how that goes. Jesus. God, that just reminds me, man, there are so many dead franchises now. Like, Star Wars is dead. Is Indiana Jones dead? I kind of feel like Indiana Jones could be saved, because you could still kind of do the things that they should have done before the movie. Like, why not do some comic books or re-release some old ones? Why not do some novels? Why not do a video game? But with this being such a loss, and I guess we can switch to the current state of the franchise. This is bad, man. Like, this movie could lose $250 million. I mean, that's enough to kill basically a movie studio. Now, Disney's too big to fail, pretty much, just because of this. Now, you look at all the other bombs they have going on, they're in trouble. And if they start losing money in the parks, they're probably going to have to start selling shit off. Like, they got to sell Fox off, and hell, they might sell Lucasfilm off. I don't know who would buy it. Hey, you guys want, Star Wars and Indiana Jones? Okay. Give us $4 billion. It's like, no thanks. I mean, I guess if I had the money, I would buy it. But, that's the thing too, man. I really feel like fans, like, I could have done a much better job promoting this movie. Yeah. I mean, just everything the marketing department did with this, like, they didn't build up to it. No books, no games. They could have even done a cartoon show. Like that, what is it? Yeah, this is fantastic. If you guys have not seen this, please come and watch this. I can't believe this doesn't even have 1 million views. This is amazing, this little animated short. In this 1 minute and 40 seconds, this gets Indiana Jones better than even Crystal Skull does. I mean, it's point by point Indiana Jones. Perfection. Yeah. You want to tell me why Disney didn't do a cartoon of Indiana Jones? Like, I would have hired these guys in a second. 6 years ago, too. Yeah. Let's get Genndy Tartakovsky, the guy who did Samurai Jack, Primal, Powerpuff Girls, Dexter's Laboratory. Let's get him and these guys to make an Indiana Jones cartoon show. Doesn't even have to be a lot, because I know animation's expensive as fuck nowadays, but let's do 6 half-hour episodes. Throw them on Disney Plus, see how they do. Why not? Why not? See what it does. Maybe you could have a big animated show now. And you know Disney Plus needs content, so could have done something like that. So right now it's just not good, man. Yeah, not good. Now, do I think Kathleen Kennedy's gonna get fired and da 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 da? I don't know. I mean, she should have been fired for how she handled Star Wars. But again, because of the fans, Star Wars made fucking money. I mean, I'm never going to watch Rise of Skywalker. I mean, I made the mistake of watching The Last Jedi. And, you know, there were parts of that I found interesting. And I definitely agree with Red Letter Media's opinion. Like, it should have ended with Kylo Ren asking Rey, hey, let's just get rid of the Jedi and Sith. You know, let's do something new. The movie should have ended right there. Like, on the question. Like, holy shit, everybody would have been like, oh my god, what's going to happen in the next one? But then the movie goes on for 40 minutes and basically ruins Luke Skywalker and kills the franchise. Yeah. So, yeah. But, yeah, I mean, what's the benefit of keeping her now? What? She is so arrogant that she thinks that she can make a whole new Rey Star Wars movie or trilogy. Like, that's her idea. Okay, let's go and get Rey and make a... Well, if you look at Star Wars, everything's female oriented now. Let's make a Rey series. Let's make a Ahsoka TV series. Let's make the Acolyte. Everything is female Jedis doing stuff. Now, if they were sexy, okay, but, you know, it's just feminism taken to its, you know, maximum. And she's so arrogant that she thinks these things are going to be successful. I'm like, The Mandalorian's pretty much done. I think supposedly Dave Filoni's going to make a Mandalorian movie. We'll see how well that goes. Yeah, I mean, we'll see what the ratings for Ahsoka are. And if you really think a Rey movie's going to do well, oh my god. I actually hope they keep her around long enough for that to come out, because I really want to see the box office for that. Because you know it's going to be... And that's the thing, too. They're spending too much money on this shit. Way too much money. I mean, I saw this movie. I was bored out of my mind. And I'm like, you spent $300 million on this? I'm like, my god. Imagine how much a Rey movie's going to cost. At least 200. Probably 250. I mean, that's going to make like $300 million at the box office. Maybe 400. Yeah. You're going to lose another $300 million on that. And she thinks that she can do that. Because if somebody tell her, look, stop. Make something good. Make something that people actually want to see. Just stop, you know? But there's somebody to do that. I mean, Bob Iger's not going to do it. And to be fair, too, I think Tom on Midnight's Edge made a good point. He basically said Bob Iger's legacy is tied to Rey because he was the head of Disney when that came out. So if she's dead, if that character's dead, what has he got to hang his hat on? So he probably wants the Rey movie to come out, too. But, I mean, it's just... Yeah, Lucasfilm is a disaster right now. Disaster. And I guess let's transition into going forward. Is the Indiana Jones franchise dead now? This might sound crazy to you, but I actually want another Indiana Jones movie. I know. It's crazy. But that's actually what I was kind of feeling at the end of the movie. I'm like, I don't want Indiana Jones to end like this. Well, first of all, what's the conclusion of Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny? Nothing really changes from the beginning. I mean, Indy's got a new bullet hole in him, and Marion's back, but other than that, what's changed? His son's still dead. and he's still, I guess he's out of the job now as a professor, and hell, he might even get arrested for the murders of his fellow professors and stuff. I don't, you know, they don't handle any of that, and it just ends with Indiana Jones grabbing his hat from off the, you know, the dry line or whatever the hell it's called. I mean, that's how you want to end this franchise? Instead of just having him go on one final awesome adventure? I mean, they could do a movie tomorrow. All right, well, let's get short round. Let's go on one more adventure. Let's do it. And I would say you have a budget of $150 million. So good luck to you. Yeah, that's all you're getting. And I think that's why Raiders, one of the reasons why Raiders were so good was because Spielberg had a small budget. He didn't want to overspend. And it forced them to be creative. Now, if 150 million, if Harrison Ford's giving you shit, hey, I want more money. Say, hey, your last movie was shit and it bombed. Is that how you want to go out? So, here, I'll give you $5 million. Get your ass over here. Yeah. Okay. That's more than 99% of Americans will make in their lifetime. $5 million. Here. Get your fucking hat and jacket on. Let's go kick some ass. And yeah, you need somebody to be tough for these people. Yeah, we're going to make this for $150 million. We're going to use real stunts. We're going to limit CGI. We're going to go and shoot in real locations, just like the Adventures of Young Indiana Jones. If they could do that for $1 million an episode, so can we. Pretty much. So, yeah. I think if they were like, look, if they just came out and had a mea culpa, like, sorry guys, we just had a lot of issues with this movie. We didn't have a good script. The story was kind of stupid. I mean, time travel. yeah. And, we're going to do better. We're sorry, and we are going to do better. We're going to get a very good cast. We're going to have, Harrison Ford back. And we're going to just make a great adventure. And this will be Indiana Jones's final hurrah. And I think people would be like, okay, we'll see what you do. Now, its first week and at the box office might not be great because people are going to be like, eh. But look what happened with Top Gun Maverick. That didn't have a good opening box office weekend, but then word of mouth, and that movie had legs like nobody's business. And hell, I mean, I think I saw it in the theater a month after it came out. And I loved it. So, word of mouth matters, man. Word of mouth matters. So if you make well, and that's the thing too. You can't make a good Indiana Jones movie. And a lot of the people who have been positive on this movie, that's basically what they've said. It's all right. I enjoyed it. It's fine. But then I'm like, guys, you can't just make an okay Indiana Jones movie. You can't. Raiders of the Lost Ark and Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade, those are 10s. Those are timeless classics. Amazing movies. Raiders of the Lost Ark is technically one of the finest movies ever made, in my opinion. Though I think Raiders of the Lost Ark is a better movie, but I like The Last Crusade more, if that makes any sense. But just, editing, pacing, everything. Raiders of the Lost Ark is one of the finest movies ever made. And I know a lot of people love Temple of Doom, and I like Temple of Doom. It is awesome. But let's say Raiders and Last Crusade are 10s. I'd probably say Temple of Doom's like a 9.5. So, I mean, it's still a very, very good movie. I mean, it's far better than probably anything we've gotten this year. I mean, I like John Wick 4, but I mean, it's kind of silly. It's not something I'm going to be watching 30 years from now, when I'll probably still be watching Temple of Doom 30 years from now. So, let's just make a great Indiana Jones movie. Because Kingdom of the Crystal Skull, if the other three movies are a 10 and a 9.5, Kingdom of the Crystal Skull is like a 6. Yeah. And you could just look at all the games and all the comics and stuff. What happened after that movie came out? They all died. Boom. Done. 2009. Done. Movie comes out in 2008. Franchise is dead. 2009. Yep. No toys, no nothing. And, what would I give Dial of Destiny? I mean, I like the Battle of Syracuse just because I'm a historian and it was cool seeing the epic battle and shit. But there's just so much stupid shit in it. And CGI out the ass and this forgettable character. I can't name a single character other than Helena and I guess Teddy. And I don't even know why I remember his name. Because after seeing the movie, I couldn't remember. I was like, what the fuck's his name? But I think I've seen so many reviews of the movie, that's the only reason why I remember his name. But I don't remember Antonio Banderas' character's name. And Bowler, I think he's only called Bowler once in the entire movie. So it's just, yeah. I mean, nothing in this movie is memorable, really. And it's just, I would probably, I guess, give it a 5 or a 6. So pretty much right up there with Crystal Skull. So, yeah. I guess the only thing the marketing department of Indiana Jones this time around has done right, I said in my review, was the toys. They're doing a pretty good job with the toys, but that's a niche market now. Basically guys in their 30s and 40s are buying them. Kids aren't buying Indiana Jones toys. Well, and that's the fucking problem too, is it's such a niche market that even if a kid wanted to buy a Indiana Jones toy, it's sold out. Because all the 30-year-olds buying them, and it's just they only make a certain amount of them. Like Todd McFarlane just came out with a Batman '89 figure with the Batmobile. That fucking thing sold out in like minutes, and people are on Instagram griping like, "Why the hell can't I buy this? I want to buy this," and you're just leaving money on the table because they only have enough money to produce only so many figures and stuff. It's just a really dumb market, man. But I get it. You don't want to overproduce and then lose money. But it's like, guys, like, you're leaving money on the marketplace here, man. And it's kind of the same thing to go on a weird tangent. It's kind of the same thing I'm seeing with museums. Like, ever since COVID, museums are like, we can only sell a certain amount of tickets a day. And I'm just like, are you just not wanting people to come to your museum? Like, when I went to the Washington Monument last year in DC, it was like, I think like 4 o'clock in the afternoon, and the monument closes, I think, at 5 or 6. There was a line of people, like 10 people behind me, lined up to get tickets. And the lady at the ticket counter said, sorry, we sold out of tickets at 10 o'clock this morning. You'll have to come back tomorrow. I'm like, honey, there's like 11 of us here wanting to give you money to go up the fucking penis monument. Like, are you fucking kidding me? You'll just leave. I mean, each ticket was probably like $10+. I'm like, you're leaving $100 right here. I mean, what do you, like, I don't understand what people are doing. It's just stupid practices. I mean, say what you will about the corporate system and capitalism and stuff, but I mean, if you want to make money, like, make money. And that's the thing too with this movie. Movie prices are so expensive. I dropped $15 fucking to go see this, and I hate myself for it. I'm like, man, dude. Like, I wish I had bought a movie ticket for something else and then just snuck into this. But my theater is pretty strict with that, so I most likely would have been caught. But I did talk an old timer out of seeing the movie, a guy at work, and he was like, yeah, what was your opinion of Indiana Jones? Because he knows I'm a big fan, and I'm like, it's long, boring, CGI out the ass, and Phoebe Waller-Bridge is one of the most unlikable characters in movie history. He was like, all right, thank you, I won't go see it. So in a way, that cancels out my $15, I guess. But yeah, I mean, it's just, why go see this? Why do anything with this movie? And that's the job of the marketing department, is to get asses in seats. Kathleen Kennedy's job as a fucking producer is to get people to go and see the movie. She didn't do anything. I mean, when you got James Mangold like getting into arguments with legitimate fans on Twitter, calling them basement dwellers and losers, essentially, she should have come out and said, hey, hold on, we're doing our best with this movie, And the guy made a good point. He's like, look, if you're excited to go see this movie, here's some points for you. One, Steven Spielberg's not directing it. Two, Kathleen Kennedy's producing it in Lucasfilm. And Indiana, Harrison Ford's 79 years old. Like, these are the same people that ruined Star Wars, and, Crystal Skull wasn't exactly good. And James Mangold called him a loser, pretty much, for saying that. I mean, I get it. You want to protect your, company and stuff. And I kind of get the slight, hey, fuck you. I'm a good director too, like Spielberg. But, and also it's like, why are you doing that? I mean, you might be like, well, fuck this guy, but why respond to him? Like, he didn't just respond. He went into like days of arguing with people. Where was Kathleen Kennedy? Where was anybody to put a positive spin on this movie? Nowhere. Because they're so high up, they've had their asses licked by so many people that they just literally are that arrogant that they think that, oh, it'll make $1 billion. Yeah, it'll just make $1 billion. I don't have to worry about it making $1 billion. And that's when you need people to like rough these people up verbally. Like, what are you fucking doing? What are you thinking? Like, do you not know how bad this looks? Do you not know how bad of a job you've done with Star Wars? And I'm not doing this to bring them down or anything. I'm just like, look, you need to take stock of the situation here. People think you are horrible at your job. People see this movie and think that you are going to ruin Indiana Jones. I mean, we all remember the South Park, with Indiana Jones being raped. That was with Spielberg and Lucas. I mean, the guys who created Indiana Jones. Oh, God. That was so traumatizing. Oh, my God. Yeah, I mean, these were the guys who invented Indiana Jones. And they fucked it up with Crystal Skull. Who the fuck are you guys thinking you're going to come in here and make a great Indiana Jones movie? Yeah? It's like, who the fuck do you think you guys are? I mean, it's just sad and depressing, man. I really don't even want to talk about this fucking movie ever again. I really don't. But I'm just saying, is the franchise dead? Probably. Because I don't think they're going to do anything I suggest. I mean, what would I do? All right, what would I do to save the franchise right now, going forward? Well, let's re-release the comics. Let's get in touch with Dark Horse. And hell, while we're at it, why don't we have Dark Horse re-release their Star Wars comics? Those things were awesome back in the day. Oh, that's right. Kathleen Kennedy got rid of the expanded universe. Okay. That was probably the dumbest fucking decision ever. That's the thing, too. It really seems like she wants to get away from Lucas and Spielberg for whatever reason. I get it, trying to do your own thing. Well, invent your own fucking franchise, you lazy bitch. Don't be living off of them. And I think that's one reason why she wants to do the Rey movie, is because it will be the first time that basically there's no connection with Lucas's Star Wars, So, yeah. But, it's kind of hard creating a multi-billion-dollar franchise, isn't it? But, yeah, I would get the comics going. Start low, work your way up. You got to build a foundation of good stuff. Get the comics going. Get, somebody writing books, somebody good. I don't think Max McCoy is still alive, unfortunately, but Bob McGregor is still out there. His stuff's a little weird, but maybe rein him in a little bit on some of the weirder stuff. Get him going again. Get somebody to do the World War II years. Like, my God. I mean, you could say the original trilogy was building up to the epicness of Indiana Jones during World War II. Yeah, get somebody to do that. Do a video game during World War II. How fucking awesome would that be? I don't know what kind of dynamics and gameplay it would have, but I mean, for the time, Indiana Jones and the Emperor's Tomb had pretty freaking awesome gameplay. Had the whip, had the fists, had the pistol. Hell, even if Indiana Jones got like knocked down, punched, his hat would fly off and you would have to go and pick it up like he does in the movies. Brilliant. Mwah. Just, have a great game or a very good game, And Bethesda, it takes them 20 years to make something. I mean, how long have we been waiting on Elder Scrolls 6? I mean, that was announced like, 4 years ago? Maybe get somebody who can actually make video games. So start with that. Start with the ground up. Get the foundation. Then I would get together with Genndy Tartakovsky and let's do a animated miniseries of adventures. Maybe take those back to the 30s. Yeah, maybe do like 1930 or something. Yeah. And then if that's successful, maybe build up and do World War II. Yeah. And then if all that's successful, maybe in, 2 or 3 years, let's get to work on another Indiana Jones movie. But it's got to be done cheap. It's got to be done real. Practical effects, real stunts, low CGI. Just, yeah. And, I mean, and Harrison Ford doesn't have to do any of the action. Have Short Round kick some ass. Have Chris Pratt come in as maybe his long lost son. We know he had, Indiana Jones had a lot of loves in his life. So maybe he could be the son that he never had before, Just anything, dude. Let's have some... You know what? I just came up cathartic moment here. Let's have fun. Let's have fun with Indiana Jones. Let's go on an adventure. Let's go fight some bad guys, good versus evil. Let's find some amazing artifacts. Let's have fun. And that was the number one thing missing from Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny. Fun. This was not a fun movie. It was boring. I was actually checking my phone to see what time it was. All right, how much of this is left? The only fun part was the dumbest part when they went back in time and were doing the Battle of Syracuse and stuff. That was the only time that was kind of fun for me because I'm a history buff. And Indiana Jones talking to Archimedes was fun for me. Hearing Harrison Ford speak classical Greek, I'm like, okay, you should have been speaking German and Arabic the entire movie, but I like this. Yeah. Let's have fun. You can't put a price on fun and entertainment. It's priceless. Why do you think people are still watching Raiders of the Lost Ark 42 years after it came out? Because it's fun. So, yeah. But will Lucasfilm, Kathleen Kennedy, Disney, will they do that? I don't think so. So, unfortunately, I guess I have to say Indiana Jones is most likely dead. But, that being said, I will always have the original 3 movies. I will have the video games, Fate of Atlantis, Emperor's Tomb. I'll always have the books, from Peril of Delphi to whatever the hell the last one was with Stephen Perry. I will always have them. I wouldn't mind getting an Indiana Jones figure, but I haven't really found one that looked good enough to buy, so maybe one day. But yeah, I will always have this series, always have this franchise, but going forward, yeah, it's probably dead, unfortunately, but I'm glad it bombed because it was beneath us as fans and it was beneath the original movies. So I'm glad people are finally waking up and, you know, talking with their wallets. If they had done that after The Force Awakens, like, no, this is shit. You treated Han Solo like crap. Fuck you. You're probably going to do the same thing to Luke Skywalker. They would have gotten the message a lot sooner. You know, if The Last Jedi had made just $1 billion, they would have been like, oh, fuck, we lost half our audience. Instead of it waiting until the third movie, maybe they would have changed. But who knows? I mean, if they give it to Kathleen Kennedy, I'm sure she gets to pick her successor, and it's probably going to be some other asshole. So, yeah. Whatever. Whatever. You know, there are a lot of good filmmakers and directors out there. Like, I like Robert Eggers a lot, and, you know, a couple other guys. Will they ever get the chance to make this stuff? I mean, I don't know. I mean, I wish Genndy Tartakovsky could do an Indiana Jones project. My God. My God. You know, the guy who did Samurai Jack and Primal. Oh my God. Yeah. And hell, his Star Wars series was amazing. Yeah. So. But yeah, anyway, guys, I've talked long enough, I guess. I don't want to talk about this fucking movie ever again. So, thank you for watching. Let me know, please let me know what you think in the comments, and just take it easy, man. And yeah, unfortunately, I think Indiana Jones is dead. Just because the people running it are stupid.